Hi everybody, this is Math Journal video number 3. In this particular video, if you need to pause the video at any point, just pause it so you can write the information in where you're supposed to. Just hit pause and follow along. Okay. For this one, we're going to be doing a section on first-hand and second-hand data. So number 7, first-hand and second-hand data, is the title in the table of contents. So go ahead and write that now and just pause the video to do so. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is turn to page 7, and we're going to write the number 7 on that page and write first-hand and second-hand data on the top. Okay. In your homework packet, you're going to have one of these. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut this out completely and this out completely with a pair of scissors. And what you're going to do is you're going to glue this one down first because it's step to creating a graph, which we know. And then we're going to fold this one in half this way, like a little book. Okay. And you're going to glue the back of this. So put glue all over the back of this and stick it right underneath. Okay. Then you're going to lift this little flap up. I'm not going to glue mine down, but we're going to lift this little flap up. And you're just going to cut right down the middle of this black part. So when you glue it down, you can flip up one, and one says first-hand information and the other one says second-hand information. So go ahead and pause the video and then go ahead and do that. Okay. So once you've completed that, we're going to write a little bit of information on here. Okay. The first thing that we're going to write about first-hand data is that we know that with first-hand data, we collect the data ourselves. Okay, so we collect the data. When we're collecting data, you should use a tally chart or a table. So what we mean by tallies is when you were counting, when you ask the kids the questions, that's what we mean by tally, okay? We need to ask a question directly. So in order for you to collect information, you have to ask a question. So for example, in our class, some of the kids got up and said, "What is your favorite chocolate bar?" And then gave a whole bunch of different choices of chocolate bars that you could choose from to collect that data and tally the number of people that liked each. Okay, and we know that first-hand data is data that's usually current, which means it's data that is happening right in the moment. So you're collecting it from people right there in the moment. Okay, so if you need to pause the video to write that down, go right ahead. Okay, now in terms of second-hand data, we know that this is when we use data collected by someone else. Okay. We also know that we're taking information from a chart and putting it onto a graph. We also know that examples of second-hand data collection include weather, history, things that have happened in the past, and maps. So those are all things collected by other people. So go ahead and write that information down and pause the video if you need. Okay. Now let's go back up here. This is really important information. You guys should know this, and this is a review. So in terms of steps to creating a graph, making your own graph, you need to collect your information, which is the first-hand data, or gather your information from second-hand data. So you could go on the internet and find that information out, etc. for second-hand data. Decide on the value amounts and place them along the y-axis along with a title. Keep them at equal intervals. So basically, what that means, if I'm looking for mine, if we're going back to this particular graph, sorry. So in this particular graph, this is called the y-axis right here. And this is where you write your values, okay, your numbers, okay? And then you also need to, you need to place them on the, and then you need to keep them at equal intervals. So, these go up by, I'm not going to give you the answer because that's part of your proof, okay? Then you need to label the x-axis. This is the x-axis here. You also need to add a title, okay? Then you need to put the information, number 5, chart the data, and then add a title for the whole graph, okay? If you're doing a double bar graph, you need to add a legend, okay? So those are all the pieces of information that are really important for you to remember for this part of the journal.